Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. And of course, this is a special session and issues to be discussed here, but that's on the PDP crisis. And we have a very special guest that we will be taking on this in this special interview. We're talking of a former federal lawmaker, radical politician, and currently the spokesman of the Atiku-Okowa Campaign organization, Senator Dino Melaye. It's a pleasure having you with us.
Good afternoon. My pleasure being here.
Distinguished, let's not just take much of the time. Your party, the People's Democratic Party, is enmeshed in a crisis, a make or mark crisis. Just 5 months to the presidential, to the 2023 general election, and just few days to flag off of the campaign for 2023. The party is here to set up a campaign council. Will the PDP ever go to this election as a united family? Because the thinking is that the 2023 election is being taken as PDP versus itself.
Anyway, I want to start by correcting you that there's no crisis of the PDP. What we have is just mere disagreement with one or two persons. Democracy is noisy. Democracy is all about disagreement and the management of sin. And what is happening is just mere disagreements, and it is a domestic case that will be tackled domestically. And I want to tell you that it is not proper for it to be escalated to the level of magnitude of crisis. There's no crisis in the PDP. The PDP is one big, indomitable, big, strong, and reliable political party that is very organized, and we are set to win the 2023 general elections. And if you're particularly talking about disagreement or complaint by Governor Nyesom Wike, I also want to tell you that that is also under control. And in a matter of days or weeks, all that will be over. And we are going into this election a united political party, because Nyesom Wike is yet to address anyone that is dumping the party. He's yet to say that he's not going to support the party. And I have said some on a different platform before that Nyesom Wike is 59 years old. Next year he will be 60, meaning he's joining the League of Statesmen. And he's a very honorable and responsible Nigerian. He is a member of the Nigerian Bar and even a member of the bench of the body of benchers in this country. So I was physically present at the convention ground, where on national TV and before millions of Nigerians, where he made a statement that he will not leave the party, and that whoever emerges as the presidential candidate of the party, he is going to support. And that is what I am holding on to. And I know he's an honorable man who will stand up to his promise and his statements. He's not going to eat his own words and leave the party and go to which political party? The party that is dead, the party that is not in existence. Talking about the APC, all promises continue. Basically, I assure you that we have no cause for alarm. The party, the PDP, is going to win the next general elections. Atiku-Okowa will be president-elect by February and president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on May 29, 2023.
Well, distinguished, when you say there's no party, you seem to be downplaying the situation, because as at the last count, we know very well that all is still not well with the PDP, where even the national chairman of the party, Senator Atiku, has come out to insist that he will not resign, as being insisted by the Wike's camp. And of course, most stakeholders of the party feel that if the parties have settled for a northern presidential candidate, then a southerner should be made the national chairman of the party. And I think that is one of the demands of the Wike camp.
That is Simple logic. Do you put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart? Those clamoring for the unceremonious removal of IU are from the APC, and they are trying to create what I call a constitutional crisis in PDP, where the APC becomes the beneficiary. Because even if you say IU should be unceremoniously removed at this point, by the provisions of the constitution of the PDP, it states clearly that its replacement must come from its zone, meaning that the deputy national chairman of the party North will take over from IU. That does not cure the problem they are trying to ameliorate. So, Atiku is not president-elect yet. So, why would you want to take drugs before diagnosing the problem? So I think it is only logical, it is only reasonable that we wait for our presidential candidates to become president-elect. At that point, you can now ask, you don't even need to ask, understand? Nature will take its course. But to ask him to resign before then is a deliberate attempt to create constitutional crisis in the PDP, and it is a plot of the APC to create problem for us. And that will not happen. That will not happen because the party have means and procedures for running the party. And if you think you have a strong point, you don't need to go to pages of newspapers. You don't need to go in a clandestine manner asking for you. We have a neck of the party. We have a board of trustees of the party. And when these meetings are going on, these are procedures and issues that can be raised and tackled domestically. But I still insist that the party is not in crisis. I insist that our programs are on. You can see the presidential candidate is moving from one part of the country to another, evangelizing and setting out democratic evangelism, winning more souls on daily basis. In fact, it's now per second basis. People are moving, exodus from the APC to the PDP from all over the country. Atiku is gaining more momentum, and that is not definitely due to the massive and colossal failure of the APC.
Well, distinguished, let me still on the national chairman. Is it too much for the PDP national chairman to make this sacrifice and quit him? At least that will even help the party to move on. Because worst of all is that some stakeholders of the party feel he's not helping matter.
Maybe you still did not get my
I understand
expression. What I'm saying is that the resignation, voluntary resignation of IU, if we're to go by the constitution of the party, it states that once the chairman is removed, it must be replaced with somebody from his zone. And by hierarchy and procedure, if IU resigns today, the deputy national chairman North, by constitutional provision, is the one that is supposed to step in. And what they are clamoring for is that the North should not be chairman and North should not be president. But it has happened before, where a northerner was the chairman, and Goodluck Jonathan became president. But immediately Goodluck Jonathan was sworn in, then he was removed, and Nwodo was brought in to replace the northerner. And that scenario is the same thing that should follow. We are not saying IU will be chairman by the time Atiku emerges as president-elect. The moment he becomes president-elect, and I've said in many fora before that the governors of PDP made IU national chairman. And that is why IU was a consensus candidate. At the time they were making IU national chairman, did they think that IU is from Imo? Or did they think that IU is from Edo State? Everybody knew IU is a northerner when he was made the chairman. So let us not, just because of personal and egocentric interests, try to create problem where there is none. So basically, I'm saying that is not an issue. It's not an issue. It's not. We are focused. And you talked about our campaign structure not out yet. It is not because of any crisis that the structure is not out. The PDP is an organized party. Failure to plan is planning to fail. and we want to make sure that everybody is carried on board and there's proper square peg in square holes. And I'm telling you that in a matter of days, the structure will be unveiled.
Well, there was something interesting you hinted at, that just for the sake of clarity. You said that the people calling for Ayo's resignation are playing the APC script. Does this fit into the narrative that has been going about that your governors, the PDP governors, the Wike camp, have been hobnobbing the APC?
I am very good at many things, but I do not have the celestial powers to read people's mind. So I'm not. God is here to give me such anointing to begin to read people's mind and know where their allegiance is or not. But I'm telling you that knowing APC with their satanic characteristics, they are all bent, knowing fully well that they've done woefully well. Their performance is a beautiful nonsense. Knowing fully well that they cannot win elections in this country, they will definitely be looking for things that will create unnecessary pressure in the PDP. But I'm telling you that they will fail, like they're going to fail in the elections. The PDP, we are just busy sending our messages to Nigeria, telling the Nigerians what we will do with the economy that is already in comatose, what we will do with insecurity that has ravaged the country, what we will do in the education sector, what we will do to unify this country, because this country is completely divided. We've never been divided like this, not even during the Civil War are we this divided. I mean, the Atiku blueprint, the Atiku agenda on how to rebuild this country. We are busy telling Nigerians what we are going to do with devolution of powers, what we are going to do with restructuring. These are what the PDP and the Atiku campaign organization is busy with. We are not perturbed or disenchanted or disillusioned with unnecessary commentaries, rhetorics, and beer parlor discussions. What we are interested in is to build a new Nigeria where equity, justice, and egalitarianism becomes the order of the day.
But distinguished, sorry to cut you short. We were talking about the country being divided under the APC government, but the APC still feels that the reason why it hasn't been able to turn around the fortunes of Nigeria is because of the misrule, 16 years misrule of the opposition PDP.
Let me tell you, only indolence, only myopic, porous, intellectually stagnant people give excuses. There's no room for excuses. What Nigerians are looking for is results. And APC is busy giving excuses, saying that the problem is because of the PDP. You are a Nigerian, you go to the same market, you have blood flowing through your body, not kerosene. You knew what life was in 2015 and you know what it is today. You can carry out comparative analysis to know what it is. In the area of insecurity under the PDP, the problem was limited to Yobe and Borno states alone. But today, no part of this country is secure to the extent that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been threatened with kidnapping by bandits. We have never gotten to that state anywhere in the world. We've never gotten to the state that the last line of defense, which is the Brigade of Guards, is being attacked. Officers from Brigade of Guards killed. Soldiers from the Brigade of Guards killed. And there is no remedy, there is no arrest, there is no parading of anyone. We have never gotten to that state. You can tell me in 2015 that you fly economy from here to Lagos 18,000 in 2015. Today it's 100,000 naira. You can tell me that I bought diesel in 2014, 2015 for 180 naira per liter. Today it's 800 naira. You can tell me that dollar in 2015 was 210 naira. Today it's 700 naira to a dollar. So we are in the precipice. We are at the edge. So you cannot be blaming PDP for your misfortune. Under the PDP, the rail lines were not attacked. Kidnapping was not this elaborate. And let me tell you this, under Jonathan administration, the total budget for defense, including the police and everybody, in 2014-2015 was 66 billion. But when Buhari came in 2015, his 2016 budget for defense, total defense, was 99 billion. It rose from 66 billion to 99 billion. In 2017, it moved again to 140 billion. In 2018, the budget for defense was 240 billion. From 66 billion to 240, it quadrupled. But the higher the budget, the higher the insecurity and menace in the country. There is no explanation to this than incapacity, and definitely leadership problem. We have a president who is not decisive, and that is what Atiku will come and ameliorate. Atiku is a decisive character. Atiku will give ultimatum and stand by it. But the president gave ultimatum 5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ultimatum. He did not even return at the expiration of the ultimatum to evaluate the ultimatum. Till today, nobody from the presidency or from government has gone back to the ultimatum given by the president. The words of the president fell on the ground. Atiku is not going to be that kind of president. Atiku is going to be decisive, is going to be accurate, is going to carry out evaluation and monitoring of events, is going to be in charge. He's not going to be a deaf and dumb president. And that is why we are saying that Nigerians know where APC have driven us to. Today, I cannot sleep and close my eyes. I cannot travel from here to Kaduna. That was not the situation under the PDP. Apart from insecurity, the economy is there is no direct foreign investment in this country any longer. The foreign reserve is depleted. Even most of the airlines they are boycotting Nigeria. It has never gotten to that level in the history of our country because we have people who are nepotic in nature. And once you give carpentry job to a tailor, he will not perform. Because this government have no focus, they have no agenda. The country is like a car being driven without steering. We are nosediving at all levels. The performance of the APC in every sector of our economy is F9 parallel. We are in a very, very outrageously calamitous situation. And more than ever in this country, we need a father figure to unite this country. People, there is no trust between the North and the South and the North, the West and the East. This is not the Nigeria of our dream. So we need that father figure who will not be seen as a tribalist, who will not be seen as a religious bigot, who will bring everybody together. And that father figure today is Atiku Abubakar.
Distinguished, let's come back.
As a father figure, the issue still comes back to the question of why it is taking so long for the party to get its act together going into this election. So far, it will seem as if some of the party's base is being chipped away by some party leaders, some former party members. You have the OB people, you have the Kwankwaso people, and now with the way Wike and Co are going, if they continue the way they are going, because the last statement he made was that you'll be prepared to see PDP lose. Now, if this happens, what is the clear path for the PDP on winning it?
And let me just chip in something there, distinguished, because I think it's similar. Tracing the roots of this crisis, most Nigerians believe that PDP's problem is self-inflicted because the party failed to heed to the insistence and the position of them southern governors that power should return to the South.
Anyway, I want to start by saying that your allusions and conclusions are not correct. Absolutely wrong. You cannot, there's no crisis, I repeat and I say, in the PDP. And you cannot say that the PDP is not focused, we are not organized, and we have not even taken, because structures have not been formed, we are doing nothing. It is not correct. I was in Kano with our presidential candidates, and we spent 4 days and 3 nights in Kano. And in that visit, he met with different strata of the Northwest community, about 11 different groups, ranging from the Council of Ulamas to stakeholders, to support groups, to youth, to women, to media, and all that. And you can see the reception. We have never gotten such a reception for any PDP candidates since 1999. But people who sit on social media because they have access to 1,000 data begin to, sit down and write whatever gibberish they want to write. Questions like this are from such myopic posts on social media. In reality, on daily basis, we are working. So it is not correct to say that we have not been able to take off because structures have not been announced. I'm telling you, as I'm speaking with you today, Atiku is meeting with about 5-6 different group of people. Yesterday he met with people. On Saturday he met with people. On Friday he met with people. And on daily basis we are working assiduously towards the actualization of this aspiration on behalf of Nigerians. So it is not correct to say that because we travel around this country, all for, I mean, with the hope of preaching to the people. And on daily basis, activities are going on. We are not distracted at all. We are focused, we are organized, we are prepared, and we are moving. Others cannot say that. And it will be preposterous. It will be foolhardy for you to compare Atiku, Tinubu, or Peter Obi. I mean, even in the beer parlor, there's seniority. You know, yes, one who takes champagne is different from the one who takes Star or Gouda. That's what I'm saying. Because you know that Obi and Tinubu may be prepared, but Atiku is adequately prepared. That's the difference. That's the difference. In terms of experience and all that, Obi is an upcoming presidential hopeful. Age is on his side. He's a fantastic man. But for now, his analogy and appearance as the National Director General of Bureau of Statistics is not what Nigeria needs. What we need now is one with experience, is a unifier, is one who understands the economy, is one who has a conglomerate, who has managed a conglomerate, an intercontinental business, who has transformed 5 naira to 10 naira. And today in this country, that's Atiku Abubakar. Because Atiku Abubakar is a billionaire with enterprise. He's in the manufacturing sector, he's in banking, he's in education, he's in logistics, he's in almost every facet of our national humanity, even in humanities. While you can't say that of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a billionaire without enterprise. The only thing Bola Tinubu has owned to is TVC and the Nation newspaper that is running at a loss. Anyway, so we are talking of one with capacity and capability. One who understands the villa. He will need no orientation when he's sworn in as president. He will start work from day one. He will set the ball rolling. He doesn't need any orientation. If any of them becomes president, they will definitely need orientation. They may behave like Buhari, 6 months, no ministers, because they don't exactly know what to do and how to take off. But Atiku knows exactly what to do from day one, because he understands this. He has been there before. He has the experience. He knows the problem. He knows this country. No Nigerian can accuse Atiku of tribalism. No Nigerian can accuse Atiku of religious bigotry. Because he's a unifier. He's a friend of all. And that is why we are saying that a man who has the templates, who understands the issues, who can take us out of the doldrum, is the one we should all support.
Well, distinguished, sorry, before we go for a short break, let me just ask, because you once said this thing on national television when you described the presidential candidate of the APC as a billionaire without a business. Most people questioned you too. They say you're a rich man, and you should actually show the kind of business you are doing. Tinubu is a billionaire without a business.
And I will quickly respond to those who asked that question that I am into real estate. Even in Abuja here, you can name nothing less than 20 properties that I own in Abuja here for commercial users. They're there. And you should practice, you who practice investigative journalism can find out. I can take you around. I have business outside this country. I run a franchise. I do real estate business in Dubai. But I don't need to come to the pages of newspaper and advertise, what I do. But if I'm challenged, I will. I've never been invited by EFCC, ICPC, or any anti-corruption agency. Never. And with the way I have been confrontational with past government and the present government, if I have any skeleton in my cupboard, by now you know definitely I would have been a problem. And I will not be able to speak the truth to power. But Tinubu cannot say the same. He has more than 12 pending cases in EFCC as I'm speaking to you. So you cannot be comparing me and Tinubu at all. And I have not displayed bullion vans. I have not come out to share the kind of money that we call for questions. So you cannot be talking about this man here is light and darkness don't concur.
All right, distinguished. Before we continue, let's just quickly take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome back. You are still tuned to Leadership Podcast. And of course, it's a special interview session with the spokesman of the Atiku-Okowa Campaign organization, a former federal lawmaker and a radical politician, Senator Dino Melaye. Well, while on break, we discovered that comments had started trickling in from our viewers and some questions, and of course, we'll be taking them as we go ahead. And of course, we have Awal Ibrahim there. And what we are seeing there is Atiku and Okowa coming. Well, we don't know what he means by that.
He's just announcing to Nigerians
that they are coming.
They are coming to chase the APC out of the villa.
You guys are not then support. And of course, we have Benjamin Okosisi there. PDP is not even ready. That is what Benjamin is saying. Thank God Labour Party will win next year presidential election.
That's our Keri.
They are not even looking at APC, the ruling party. Okay. They are thinking that a new...
They will win like they won in Osun State.
But this raises an issue.
Yes.
How would you assess PDP's performance as an opposition in the last 7 years? Because I think it comes back to why people feel, okay, perhaps the party...
every political party have their issues, internal issues. But as I'm speaking with you, PDP is very prepared to take over power. In the last 5 years, Atiku was not our presidential candidate. But now, as it is today, the party is being guided by the presidential candidate who is the leader of the party. And I'm telling you that we will resolve all national issues bedeviling this country because of the personal personality of Atiku and Okowa. And this combination is the best you can get anywhere south of the Sahara or north of the Limpopo. It's the best combination you can get for the development and future of this country.
Distinguished, we still have sorry to cut you short. We have another viewer there. Jonathan Isaiah is actually asking, how will Atiku address the perennial ASU strike? Is he going to take the hard decision of increasing tuition fees and granting the universities full autonomy?
Anyway, I will start by saying that you cannot give what you don't have. Atiku owns a private university that has never gone on strike. And that university, 50% of the students are on personal scholarship from Atiku. Atiku understands the value of education. Started by owning a nursery school, graduated to owning a primary school and today own one of the best universities in Africa. And I want to tell you, because of his value for education, because of his love for education, Atiku can never allow this type of strike to last for this long. Atiku is already looking at his reform in the education sector. For example, most of the basics today, there's no more technical education. History has been completely taken away even from our curriculum. You go to all public schools today, you can't even find litmus paper. From practical, we now have what we call alternative to practical, to tell you how our education has nosedived. Atiku is going to carry out a reform in the education sector to the benefit of the Nigerian child. Atiku is going to carry out, apart from scholarships, apart of sitting with ASU, to negotiate the provision of infrastructural provisions because ASU is not even asking for personal, they are asking that education comes with infrastructure. This infrastructure must be provided that will be conducive for learning.
But the question is the funding. How is Atiku going to fund this?
The funding will not be a problem because it will give full autonomy to education. And once you have security, it will drive investment. Once you have investment, it will promote private sector participation in government. Once you have that, it promotes your income. Once your income increase, you can now allocate money and resources to relevant sectors like the education sector. But all this must happen for you to have resources to fund education. And that is what Atiku is coming to do. Because you can, in a chaotic situation, there can be no foreign direct investment. In an economy that is comatose, being run by scavengers, you cannot have income. Today in this country, our debt servicing is even more than our income. That cannot happen under Atiku government. And under such a government, it's impossible for you to fund education. Because you're borrowing, they're not talking of even paying back the principal. The servicing of your debt is more than your income. So then how do you fund education? Because you have people who do not know what to do. Today, under the Buhari administration, in all the financial sector of our economy, there's no single economist. From central bank, governor, to the minister of finance, to the director, budget and planning, to debt servicing, to Security Exchange Commission, all over, no single economy. So how do you give carpentry job to a tailor?
Well, the single, sorry to cut you short. You might say, and of course, most of us.
And you know, let me round up by saying that you know Atiku to be a talent hunter. He will always get the best square pegs in square holes. Today, every Nigerian know El Rufai, Okonjo-Iweala, Soludo, Barton Naji. All these people were products of Atiku. Atiku is a talent hunter. He will bring people who know what to do. It's like having a coach who is fielding Messi as a defender. There will be no results. But when you know what to do, there will be results. And Atiku definitely knows what to do.
Well, you spoke well of Atiku, and of course, I'll agree to you to an extent that in terms of experience, Atiku seems to have it because he has been the vice president of the country. But what would you say of those who will accuse Atiku of political harlotry, counting how many times he had jumped from one party to the other, looking for a party that will provide him the platform to actualize his presidential bid? And of course, as vice president, they say most Obasanjo say they fell out with him because of corruption, handing over the economy to him.
Anyway, my quick response to that beer parlor discussion is this. You're talking about a Atiku jumping party. Tinubu started with AD in 1999. From AD, he moved to ACN. From ACN, he moved to AC. From AC, he moved to APC. Peter Obi became governor under Abga. From Abga, at the time, he moved to PPA. Later, he moved to PDP, bought presidential form in PDP, got screened in PDP. 3 weeks before the presidential primaries, he ported to Labour Party. So, if you want to accuse Atiku of leaving one political party, every other person is guilty of same.
I was thinking you were.
And it is because I'm not a presidential candidate, except the one to elevate me.
No,
So I'm not. We are talking.
It's about
We are
the political
debating.
class.
We are
We're talking
debating
about the
presidential
presidency.
candidates.
It's about the political
We are
class.
talking about presidential candidates.
Issue here is not
So
about
it's not
Senator
a-
Dino Melaye.
I mean,
It is the
If you elevate me
presidential-
to the status of a
presidency.
presidential candidate, I will be very glad if you give me the resources. So, but what I'm saying in essence is this: that whether we like it or not, Nigeria is a developing political nation. We are evolving. Our democracy is just 20-something years. So it may not be absolutely ideologically based. It may not be manifesto driven, but we will get to that stage where it will be ideologically based. In the Second Republic, there was semblance of ideology. If you vote PRP, you know what to get. You vote MPN, you are sure of Shagari Estate. You vote UPN, you are sure of free education. But I'm telling you that we're evolving. So everybody who have a drive like Atiku will look for any vehicle that can help him to actualize his dream of transforming this country. But today, the car that is intact and well serviced for the Nigerian road to take us to the promised land is PDP. The APC vehicle has carburetor problem because it's not even a new. They are using an analog vehicle, no power steering, no central lock, no AC. You understand? He's using Bakazu, so it cannot take us anywhere. But the PDP vehicle, I'm sure, will take us somewhere. And not to talk of Labour Party that is still on Okada.
Okay. Can you give us a clear sense of how Atiku intends to deal with this problem of insecurity? Because I think it is at the heart of what we face today. Give us a clear sense of how it's going to deal.
And then distinguish.
Before-
Sorry,
I'm coming,
add
sorry.
something. Let me add. It's just related.
Sorry, I'm coming. Before you add something, I will answer your question, but I didn't answer the second leg of your question. You said Obasanjo accused Atiku of corruption. I challenge any Nigerian today to show me a white document or report where Atiku has been indicted of corruption. You think Atiku is corrupt and Obasanjo will let him go? He has no case with the EFCC. He has no corruption case with ICPC. He has not been indicted by any court of law. And people sit down under the influence of alcohol and other cheap drugs and begin to accuse a man of corruption without evidence. You are a journalist. Has he been invited ever by any anti-corruption agency? Has any court of law indicted him of corruption? Has any government tribunal panel indicted him of corruption? You cannot just sit down and appropriate corruption to people without evidence, without nothing like that. A man who has been successful even before he became vice president. People started talking about Intel. Intel, he got his shares in Intel in the 80s. When did he become the vice president? Whom God has blessed, no man can cause. Instead of you to ask him to transfer anointing of wealth creation to you and teach you how to make money, you are busy saying corruption without evidence.
It is this for this reason that most people are still considering Atiku Abubakar as belonging to the old order, and that is even what is giving rise to this the obedience movement. And the idea is that Nigerians say they are tired with the old order, old politicians, and Obi is a symbol of the new order.
Which order? Obi is part of the old order. Obi was governor of Anambra for 8 years. It's not a new person. Is there a new Obi? Obi up to 4 months ago was still a member of the PDP. Did you manufacture a new Obi? That you are saying Obi is a new person, a new order. New order from where? He is Agaracha, old order. Obi was part of the PDP. Did he just fall from heaven and he was rebaptized? There's no new Obi. And the whole movement of Obi is an euphoria. that is gradually facing off. It is not in giving dubious statistics. That is no, that's not what we're talking about. And Obi is a creation of Atiku.
Well, saying
Before
you are saying has been actually
Obi is a creation of Atiku because
but most Nigerians
before Atiku made Obi his vice presidential candidate, Obi was not known on national platform. It was his vice presidency against all odds by Atiku that gave him a platform today to turn statistician.
But the thing is, there's this report.
And in answering your issue on security,
there's this
because he asked a question on security. I think I should quickly answer that. The template of Atiku on security is that from day one, he said Nigeria is under-policed. And the first thing he's going to do as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to do massive recruitment in the Nigerian police. And also reform the security architecture of this country. Atiku is not going to be a president who will strengthen and reward failure, where service chiefs have failed woefully. Instead of being sacked, they got tenure extension. After getting tenure extension, they were all decorated as ambassadors to various countries for failing. Atiku will not do that. Atiku will not carry 90% of the security outfit in this country and give it to a particular region or zone. He will not do that. Because he's a man of principle, he's a man who believes in Nigeria, he's a man who believes in everybody. The security architecture of this country is going to be completely reformed.
Sorry to cut you short. You see, there's a good one there, and I think the comment there seems to favor you and your position. We have Bashir Abubakar, and his own opinion is that this is what he has to say. I'm from APC, but when truth is spelled out, accept it, even if it's from your enemy. One person with quality is Atiku, and Dino said when Atiku was VP, he raised and helped Southerners than the North. That is why now we choose Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because Peter Obi is tribal, a tribal contestant, also religious by God. If you take a look at his activities.
Anyway, this man speaking may not understand what he's saying. If you are talking about Tinubu, the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is very clear. To be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you must be mentally and physically fit. It's a constitutional requirement. And I am going to make sure that we canvass that INEC asks every one of these presidential aspirants to tender their medical certificates. Because what we need in Nigeria now is a healer, not a patient. We don't want to have a president that will be junketing from Villa to London. No! I'm not using this but I'm saying that to be president of the country is a constitutional requirement that you must be mentally and physically fit. We don't need a president that needs assistance to stand, to walk, to talk. We need a president who will dedicate time into rebuilding the wrath caused by the APC. So if somebody is talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then automatically you are an enemy of this country. Because we cannot move from say Baba to say Kaka, say Kaka. Kaka means grandfather. So you cannot, we cannot degenerate lower. We can't go below the bar of Buhari. And definitely as I speak with you today, Buhari is healthier than Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Well, this is still a political season and discussions are still ongoing, I want to presume. Is there any pathway to see some kind of political deal? Since you said Obi is still a part of your party, and even
no, I didn't say it's part of my party. I said they were members.
It's a product of your party.
They were members of our party.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there still any pathway towards a political deal of sorts?
You see, anyone who loves this country, who believes in the prosperity of this country, who believes that where we are now, we ought not to be there. And people are living this country on a daily basis for the fear that if Tinubu becomes president, then we are going to complete oblivion. These people should voluntarily step down and support Atiku. Both Obi and Kwankwaso. If they genuinely love this country, if they are not comfortable with what is going on now, if they know that they want their children and generation yet unborn to live in a country where the green passport will be respected again, to stop exodus and brain drain from this country, they ought to voluntarily say, because of our love for Nigeria, because we are patriotic people, because we have seen the pain and agony and satanic manifestations of the APC, we want to support, we hereby withdraw our presidential ambition to support Atiku Abubakar. That is what any logical reasoning person will do in this point in time.
Well, this thing is for want of time. I think let's talk a little about you. And then, you know, you contested the senatorial primary, and of course, we had been insinuations and some kind of opinions concerning that primary. But the question, let me put it straightforward: did Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, did he play any role at all in making you lost the ticket for Kogi West?
Anyway, my name is Dino Melaye. I have a philosophy and principle. I don't discuss the past. I just cross over and move on.
Well, talking about Tinubu, and of course, we told us very well about your business. But Femi Fani-Kayode yesterday called for your arrest over a revelation or confession about the PDP convention where Dr. Iyachayu, the party's national chairman, I don't know, he said you have responded by blasting the former minister anyway. But today he has responded again. What do you have to say about it?
Anyway, I've not heard his response, but I sympathize with Fani-Kayode. I actually pity him, because when a man talks out of influence, I try to forgive the person, knowing fully well that he's not the one speaking. So I mean, I don't have time for frivolities.
Well, that is the much we can take for this very special interview session with Senator Dino Melaye, spokesman of the Atiku campaign organization. Well, distinguished, it was nice having you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.
And well, we thank you, our viewers, for actually keeping tab with us. And of course, we see many comments coming there, but for want of time, we might not be able to take all the comments. Thank you for keeping tab with us. And of course, join us for the next program, which comes up immediately. And of course, I thank my colleague Chibu Zokaide for actually being part of this interview session. This is where we draw the curtain for this program. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.